Hi everybody, his Nibs here, also known as Norman Haas. This video I want to show you three new pens from Hong Dian, and these are all members of the Black Forest series of pens, just different finishes. Since these pens made their way all the way from China, I thought it would be only nice to take them out on a ride in the beautiful Lehigh Valley here in Pennsylvania. The last day and a half of summer of 2022 before we move into autumn and all the leaves change. These are slimmer pens than the ones I've been showing from Hong Dian recently, and I know that appeals to a lot of people. Narrow, thinner pens. So there are three different versions. There's the steel, obviously, sort of a flighter version, and let's see if we can get the cap top. Well, not really. This is not ideal camera positioning, I don't think. But in the link to the pens below, you can see close-up photographs. Basically, let me get my loop out. In the center of the cap is a dove, and that's surrounded by 1861, which I found in communication with China means absolutely nothing. Maybe an internal model number. 1861 Hong Dian Black Forest. So quite an attractive cap top. So this is the all-steel version. Here we have the brass version. And finally we have the carbon fiber on brass. Sorry if I'm not looking directly into the camera. I'm trying to see what's showing up on the video. So these were sent to me with three different nibs, and here's the pen capped, posted rather. This is an F nib, and I'd say that's a plastic feed. It's a little tough to tell after having filled the pens. As I said in a previous Hong Dian video, there's a variation in feeds. It's sort of the luck of the draw as to whether you get a standard plastic or let me take a look at this one as I interrupt myself. So this is the brass, and well, I'm going to discuss feeds later on in the video when I can get a closer look at the desktop. And the carbon fiber over brass, and this has a black nib. I'm all over the place here. It's the air. It's the fresh air it's getting to me. This has an M nib. And this, let's see if I can get this against something so you can... that's good, Norman. Put your hand in front of the camera. This has the bent Chinese calligraphy nib. and we'll see more of that in a writing sample. So just a quick introduction as I drive these guys around the town. The three versions, the three finishes of the Hong Dian Black Forest model. And I tried doing this video while I was driving, but people were screaming as to get out of the way, and as I focused a little too much on the pen, so I thought I'd pull over. Anyway, let me go enjoy the great outdoors, and I'll be back with more detail shortly. Okay, returning from the great outdoors to my grandfather George's desk. Here we have the three versions of the Black Forest pen, and they don't want to stay where they are. Okay. So I'm again looking at the feeds that have been inked, so it's a little hard to tell which are plastic and which are ebonite. I would say that the Chinese bent calligraphy nib is definitely an ebonite feed. Got me all choked up. And these two, I would say plastic on the brass, and again ebonite feed on the steel. Still, it seems to be the luck of the draw as to which feed they send, but I'm getting a feeling that they're using up some of their old plastic ones and they're really moving to ebonite feeds, which I like. Size comparison with some other pens. I don't have too many pens here. At my grandfather's desk, I have most of my pens in my office. Here's a Schaefer Balance 2 rather, the one that was reissued, I guess, in the 90s, if I recall when I purchased that. I guess I should show the lowly nib while I have it here. And let me get my loop out for a second. And this is an 18K gold nib on the Schaefer Balance. And then here's the last Hong Dian that I did the video on, the rabbit pen, or better known as the Haas variation. So that gives you everyone seems to like size comparisons, which I understand. It makes sense. So these are the stainless steel flighter, which has a monotone steel nib. The all brass has a two-tone nib, and the carbon fiber over brass has an all black nib. So writing in the same order as I just showed you, the steel in fine, no line variation if there's no pressure on the nib. Decent amount of line variation if press on the nib, but again, that's not what really these are designed for. That's the steel, the brass, which is an M nib, and as I've written with these a bit before, I can already tell you I find almost no difference in the line that these two lay down, and the medium almost is a touch finer to me than the F. However, when I examine the nibs end on and look at the tipping material, there is definitely more tipping material on this M than there is on the F. Looked at end on, this is a finer nib. So why isn't there more of a difference? And it's just, I didn't adjust these nibs at all. It's just a difference in tine separation. The tines are separated a touch more on the steel version with the F nib than on the brass version with the M nib. Now, that can, of course, be adjusted. If I widen the slit on the brass M nib, it would write broader. But this is straight out of the box and very, very little difference. I actually prefer the feel of the one on the steel a little bit more. Has a little bit more feedback, which I find positive. And here we have the brass with carbon fiber outer casing, all in black. And I don't use a fude nib with any regularity, almost never. So I'm not adept at using this. But the basic idea is if you use a normal position, normal writing position, you're going to get that type of a line. If you hold the nib more perpendicular, you're going to get a finer line, and everything in between. I think I'll attach an old video beneath this one, a link to an old video of my wife Teresa showing how to properly use a Chinese brush to draw characters. And this would be the same idea. You would hold the pen in a perpendicular position to get the thinner lines, often needed to draw more complex and intricate characters than Western letters. But you can see held in a regular position, going horizontally, got quite a thick line. And if you hold perpendicular to the paper, quite a difference in the line variation. So these are fun to play with. Artists love using this nib, but I'm not an artist. So those are the three versions. all metal pens, very comfortable in the hand, thinner, narrower design than many pens produced these days. And I have my favorite in appearance, which is the brass, but it has a nib that I'm going to adjust to make more of a medium line to suit my particular writing style. So that's a quick look at the Hong Dian Black Forest series of rather slim pens. And as has been my wont recently, I'm not importing directly from China now, so linked below will be a direct link to the Asvine Amazon page, where if you're interested in seeing more photographs, or any photographs, since I didn't supply any, photographs and possibly purchase of any of these Asvine or Hong Dian pens, that will be through my friend Britnam Lee's Amazon store. He's located in China, but as with many Amazon stores, he ships product to the States for quick shipping, so you don't have the usual wait as if you had ordered directly from China. And that's it for today, as I'm trying to make use of this little off-on video control remote, and let's see if it works.